In real estate investment trusts, investor discovery is moving into AI-generated shortlists. When someone asks ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, Perplexity, Google AI Mode, or Google AI Overviews for the best REITs for dividend income, or for comparisons across REIT sectors, the answer becomes a curated investment screen. The key issue is whether a REIT appears as a positive ranked recommendation or as a neutral reference buried inside a longer answer. Hey, I'm Mark Huntley, founder and CEO of Siteworks Studio. At Siteworks Studio, we study how brands show up across Google, AI answers, and the public sources buyers trust before making decisions, and how that visibility turns into credible citations, comparisons, and recommendations. The benchmark looked at real estate investment trusts across 6 AI platforms in June 2026, with a snapshot date of June 18th. The analysis covered 646 total observations across 3 public high-intent buyer clusters: best REITs for dividend income, REIT comparisons and alternatives, and pricing, valuation, and dividend yield prompts. The universe included Realty Income, Prologis, Equinix, Public Storage, Digital Realty, American Tower, Welltower, Crown Castle, Simon Property Group, and Avalon Bay Communities. The report is clear that this is a point-in-time benchmark, a segment of the publicly traded REIT market, and not a full market census. The strongest pattern is concentration. Realty Income, Prologis, and Equinix capture the largest share of valid recommendation credit across the 3 buyer clusters. Realty Income leads the dividend income lane. It appears in 103 of 646 observations, earns 61 valid recommendations, has a 9.4% coverage rate, and posts the strongest combined recommendation depth profile with a 6.4% rank 1 rate and an average recommended rank of 1.6. Prologis is the top 3 leader. It appears in 149 observations, earns 62 valid recommendations, and has the highest top 3 rate in the benchmark at 8.7%. The report also found 0 negative mentions for Prologis across the observations. Equinix has the highest raw mention presence at 32.5%, appearing in 210 of 646 observations. It earns 65 valid recommendations and leads in the pricing, valuation, and dividend yield cluster. The nuance is important. Equinix is both a visibility leader and a recommendation leader in the data center and technology infrastructure lane, though its conversion from visibility into recommendation credit is less efficient than Realty Income or Prologis. The business lesson is that presence and recommendation are separate signals. Raw mention presence measures whether a company is named anywhere in an AI response. Valid recommendation coverage measures whether the company receives positive shortlist quality recommendation credit. Public Storage shows the sharpest gap. It appears in 116 of 646 observations, a 17.9% mention presence rate, making it one of the most visible REITs in the benchmark. Yet it earns only 10 valid recommendations, a 1.6% coverage rate, and carries 15 negative mentions, more than any other REIT in the benchmark. Its net sentiment score is 0.03, the lowest in the category. The modeled monthly AI authority value for Public Storage is approximately $4.4 million, the highest figure in the data set, but the analysis says $4.3 million of that comes from visibility assist rather than recommendation credit. That distinction matters. These modeled values are directional benchmark estimates. They are not revenue, pipeline, book trades, or investor inflows. The most competitive environment is the evaluation stage cluster, REIT comparisons and alternatives. It generated 269 observations and a modeled monthly opportunity value of approximately $50.5 million. These are high-intent prompts because the investor is actively comparing options. Prologis leads that cluster with an 8.9% recommendation coverage rate and a 4.8% rank 1 rate. Realty Income follows with 9.3% coverage and a 6.0% rank 1 rate. Platform gaps are also commercially important. On Copilot, Public Storage appears in 25 observations but earns 0 valid recommendations. On Gemini, Crown Castle and Avalon Bay Communities are absent from the data. On Perplexity, Equinix appears in 19 observations but earns only 1 valid recommendation. For real estate investment trusts, this means an overall visibility score can hide platform-level weakness. Investor relations and marketing teams need prompt-level and platform-level monitoring because the competitive picture changes depending on where the investor asks. The benchmark points to a layered public evidence environment. AI systems answering REIT investor questions appear to draw from financial news publications, analyst research summaries, dividend history databases, comparison and ranking content, official investor relations materials, and sector-specific editorial coverage. That citation footprint shapes how a brand is framed. Realty Income benefits from dividend-focused coverage and income investor comparison content. Prologis benefits from industrial real estate and logistics infrastructure coverage. Equinix benefits from data center and technology infrastructure sources that extend beyond traditional REIT reporting. For weaker performers, the remediation work begins with the citation architecture. Teams need to understand whether the public source layer around the brand supports a positive shortlist recommendation, a neutral factual mention, or a cautionary comparison. The leadership takeaway is simple. In real estate investment trusts, AI search visibility has moved beyond being named in the answer. The strategic objective is recommendation stage visibility across the prompts where investors compare, evaluate, and shortlist options. For executives, the action is to map AI recommendation visibility by platform, prompt cluster, valid recommendation coverage, top 3 rate, rank 1 rate, sentiment, and citation source, then strengthen the public evidence layer that AI systems retrieve and synthesize. The benchmark shows a measurable gap between visibility and influence. The brands that close that gap will be better positioned when investors use AI-generated shortlists to decide which REITs deserve serious consideration.